Well, in this second part of this extract from Tennyson, we want to concentrate really on this another aspect of Tennyson's poetry, which is this extraordinary sense of loss and grief that I think is originated with the death of his friend Arthur Hugh Hallam. And he wrote a long, long poem called In Memoriam in 150 sections of expressing his mourning for Hallam. But many people feel it comes through in all of his verse. So there's this tension between lyrical beauty and a really profound melancholy. Tennyson was deeply affected by the death of his friend, Arthur Hugh Hallam, and in fact called one of his sons Hallam. So I'm going to start really with two poems that directly relate to Hallam's death. The first is a short lyrical poem which begins break, 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 and the second is just one of the 150 extracts from In Memoriam. It's said that Queen Victoria kept a copy of In Memoriam by her bedside all her life after her husband, Prince Albert, died. Break, break, break on thy cold grey stones, O sea, and I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. Oh, well for the fisherman's boy that he shouts with his sister at play. Oh, well for the sailor lad that he sings in his boat on the bay. And the stately ships go on to their haven under the hill. But oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. Break, break, break at the foot of thy crags, O sea, but the tender grace of a day that is dead will never come back to me. And this is just one of the sections of In Memoriam. Dark house by which once more I stand, here in the long, unlovely street. Doors where my heart was used to beat so quickly, waiting for a hand that can be clasped no more. Behold me, for I cannot sleep, and like a guilty thing I creep at earliest morning to the door. He is not here, but far away the noise of life begins again, and ghastly through the drizzling rain on the bald street breaks the blank day. Tennyson wrote this slightly longer poem, Ulysses, taking the character that obviously from Homer, but also that Dante had also used in Canto 26 of the Inferno. And Tennyson expresses something that's often quoted as a poem of determination. The last few lines are quoted by sort of politicians and people generals who want to encourage everybody to strive, headmasters. But in fact, the poem has a deep balance. And one famous critic, W. Robson, argued that the poem is a kind of dialogue between the two personalities of Tennyson as hardworking, determined Victorian, and on the other had this deeply melancholic inner person. And I think it's quite a good way of listening to this poem, to hear these two voices. It little profits that an idle king by this still hearth, among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I mete and dole unequal laws unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone, on shore, and when through scudding drifts the rainy Hyades vexed the dim sea. I am become a name, for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honoured of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far on the ringing plains of windy Troy. I am a part of all that I have met, yet all experience is an arch wherethrough gleams that untravelled world, whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rest unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life. Life piled on life were all too little, and of one to me, little remains. But every hour is saved from that eternal silence, something more, a bringer of new things. And vile it were for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labour, by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centred in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail in offices of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods when I am gone. He works his work, I mine. There lies the port. The vessel puffs her sail. There gloom the dark broad seas. My mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine, and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honour and his toil. Death closes all. But something ere the end, some work of noble note may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes. The slow moon climbs. The deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars, until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. And I'm going to end with the poem that Tennyson asked his son Hallam to put at the end of every collection of his. And he wrote it only a couple of years before he died in 1889. He died in 1892. He wrote this in 1889, and it's called Crossing the Bar. So the bar is a metaphor here for crossing from life to death. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me, and may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark. And may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.